Hey girls, Steph's joining us in 1 second. She's having a little technical difficulty.
Hey. Hi there. I don't know if anybody's on or not. I don't see. Sorry for the delay of me getting on. Oh, there. Hey, Kay. Hey, Nicole. Sorry for the delay, you guys. I somehow was on some other Zoom meeting with some guy named Andrew. I hurried and got out of his meeting before he said anything. So anyway, hey everybody, happy Sunday night. So totally casual and non-rehearsed. So I'm laying across my bed talking to you guys. Hope you guys had a great weekend. So with the Nicole and I scrambled real quick to come up so that we could all still have a team call. So we are going to talk about trusting the process. To trust the process in the products and to give it time and to know that it is working on our body, even if we don't visually see a difference. Um, Sometimes we have to feel a difference on the days that we don't see a difference, if that makes any sense. So I don't know if any of you guys, I know several of you guys saw, but maybe not everybody in this group because we may not be Facebook friends. But I made a post yesterday, and it was a very lengthy post, but I wanted it to be detailed um, on purpose because I wanted to show, I showed a side by side from May of 2016, a picture of myself versus a picture of myself from last weekend. And anyway, it was a comparison, but it was a very detailed post because I wanted to let people out there know, my current customers, people who are thinking about becoming a customer, my family members, just everybody really about the journey. Because I think so many of us always are looking for the visible differences. So even if it's not plexus related, even if it's, you're going to the gym and you're working out, or even if it's you're really watching and keeping a food journal and watching your food intake and your water intake, whatever lifestyle changes you're making, I think we're always trained to just look for the visible differences. And we're not necessarily looking or feeling the whole picture. So that's what the call about will be about tonight. Whether you've been on Plexus products for 2 months or a year or 3 years or whatever, I think I personally feel like the most people who will benefit the most from this call will be people who have been on products for less than 6 months, and or also too people who are not as consistent maybe. So again, I just want to apologize real quick. I don't have anything prepared or written. I'm just going to speak off the cuff and from my heart about this. And I wish more people would jump on, but looks like we have a skeleton crew tonight. We had quite a few more people respond that they were joining in, but we'll see if they jump on soon. Um, and I don't get to look at any of you. I just have the emoji faces. Anyway, I'm like talking to myself, it looks like. So, a couple of things. I started my journey with Plexus in 2014 at the end of January, and I took Plexus Slim and X Factor Original, and I did that for about 6 months. And then I was real good about that, and I felt differences, and I was losing lots of inches. In that amount of time, I only lost 4 pounds as far as weight goes, but I lost lots of inches, and I was definitely feeling a difference in energy and sleep and things like that. That was about 6 months worth. And then I went through some really significant life changes. I started a divorce and was changing jobs, and I was kind of doing all kinds of things. I was moving areas and all kinds of things. And so I really just decide. I didn't decide. Let me reword that. I never made a decision not to take care of myself. But that's what I ended up doing. And what I mean by that is I had my Slim and my X Factor and everything on hand, but I just quit taking it consistently. And then eventually I quit taking it altogether. I have no good reason for that other than I was just really caught up with everything emotionally and just kind of going through the motions. So I wasn't doing anything to take care of myself. I wasn't meditating anymore like I used to. I wasn't taking my supplements. Um, I was on prescription blood pressure medicine. I'm still on that. Some days I would take that, some days I wouldn't. Again, no good reason other than I just kind of let myself go to the back burner while I was juggling life. So anyway, so I ended up taking a year and a half off, basically, of the products. I maintained a little bit of business that I had at that time. I maintained it for a while and then I let it fizzle out. But I always maintained my ambassadorship. And then finally, I got real with myself and decided that I knew Plexus worked because of that short time that I had done it in the past. I had, like I said, I saw results and I felt results. So I knew that it worked and I knew it was different and I knew it wasn't a diet and I knew it wasn't a fad and I knew there was something to it. And I was passionate about it and I was passionate about the company. I had already met Tarl and Alec, our CEOs and our executives and everything like that. I had already met them at previous events. So I knew the caliber of their character. I knew the caliber of the company. I believed in the company. I believed in our executives and I believed in our products. So then all there was left to do is I needed to believe in myself. So that's when the end of May, beginning of June of 2016, I decided I was going to start back on Plexus and be consistent. And I was also going to be consistent with my water intake. Although, ever since I started Plexus originally, even when I took a break, my water intake had gotten so much better. And I had already made, was already making better choices than I was prior to Plexus, even when I was on that break for a year and a half. The other thing I want to point out is during that year and a half of not using the products, I did not gain any of the 4 pounds back. I did not, my inches did not increase. I kept everything off. Now, I will tell you that I started noticing that some of my cravings for soda and sweet tea and things like that started to come back in eventually. But a lot of the things that Plexus helped me with initially, I could still um, I could still notice that I was able to maintain those. So it was definitely different than anything I had ever done in the past. I had done so many things because I had been, I've been big my whole life, and even as a child. So I've been on any kind of diet, you name it, I've done it. Um, and I know what it's like to do those diets and fads and things like that, and then to gain it back, and usually to gain more back than what you even lost again. So fast forward to end of May, beginning of June 2016, and I decided to recommit to myself that I was going to be consistent. And this time, I was not just going to do Slim and X Factor like I had done in the past. By that time, I had been talking to other ambassadors and kind of hearing some of their success stories and getting educated about our other products. So in 2016, I started taking Mega X. I started taking Probio 5, BioCleanse, so some of our additional products. Now, since that time, I've also added in Vital Biome and a few other things. So, I want to talk to you about trusting the process, you guys. Consistency is key. Keep doing it day in and day out. Keep taking your supplements faithfully. Even when you get discouraged and you think, is this really working? I don't feel a difference anymore. I think I've hit a plateau. I don't know. Did I ever see a difference? You guys, this is when the power of a selfie or the power of a picture, period, really comes in to play. Because I know for myself, this is what I've noticed as well. Like, I know my body has changed. I feel the difference. I see the difference. However, now that it's like I said, it's been almost 2 full years since I've been consistent with my regimen this time around. there's still plenty of days, we all go through this where you're getting ready for work, you're getting ready to go out, whatever it may be, you're showering, you're getting dressed, you're trying on different clothes, whatever the case may be, and you look like yourself in the mirror. You don't feel any different. You don't look any different. Um, some days I'm like, oh, I had a really good hair day, or oh, my makeup went on really well today, or something like that. But so many times we just kind of are used to how we look. Does that make sense to anybody? I know that I can't be the only one out there that feels that way. Sometimes I think we just get used to how we look. And so if the change is not significant, like if we don't drop 10 pounds in a week, or if we don't go down a pant size or a shirt size in a week, or something significant like that, which obviously is not going to happen. And we don't want that to happen because that's not healthy. But if it's not something significant like that, then we don't even notice it a lot of times. I remember a while back, this has been quite a while back, after I got back to being consistent and on my regimen, I remember thinking that my body wasn't changing because I still had, even though I was losing more and more pounds and more inches, I still had not, my body had not shifted enough yet that I did not need to go buy new pants yet. I needed to buy a smaller shirt, but I still didn't need to buy new pants. I mean, I don't remember now. It was probably like a year or something into my regimen before I finally got to go down a pant size. And in the meantime, I was seeing other people post um, in groups, oh, I've been on for a month, I'm down a pant size. And here I'd been in for a year before I went down a pant size. And let me tell you, speaking of that, I have a picture from that day, and it was actually two pant sizes, the picture that I have from. In Lane Bryant, trying on a flashy pair of bright magenta pants that I loved. And, you know, thinking, well, this is a waste of time to even take them in the dressing room, but I loved them. And so I thought, well, I'm going to go see how close they are to fitting. Let me tell you, when I was able to pull those things up over my thighs and then over my booty and then zip and button them, I cried. I was standing in Lane Bryant crying in those magenta pants. And the sales rep came back in to check on me and hollered over the door and said, Stephanie, is there anything you need? Do you need us to bring anything? Because, now they got to get all up in your business and ask for your name and everything else to put on the door for you. So she was like, Stephanie, is there anything else you need? And I was crying. And I stepped out of that dressing room and I told her, by that time it was two pant sizes down. You guys, I remember thinking, not that I wasn't seeing or feeling any more differences. I thought I had plateaued. And then that happened. So I just want to encourage you that our bodies are continuing to change even when we don't feel it or see it, because most of the times it's so gradual. And same thing with even even buying new underwear. I remember thinking that nothing was changing, or I was noticing like my complexion was better, or my nails were better, or my hair was better, things like that. But what I really mattered was, my body, the physical body. And then I remember one day I kept thinking, gosh, I don't remember this pair of underwear being this uncomfortable. They're twisting around, they're doing all this stuff. Well, then I realized they were way too big. That's why I was having issues all day trying to wear them underneath my dress pants, is because they were way too big. And that's why they weren't fitting how they were supposed to fit. And so it's little things like that, when we think that things are not progressing or that we're at a plateau. So anyway, so the products that I take, I want to mention that to you. And I also want to remind you, when I mention what products I take, is that our bodies change. Everybody's body change. Just like apparently our taste buds change every 7 years, which is interesting and makes sense of some foods that I really like now that I used to not stand, or some of my foods that used to be my great favorites that I don't really care for anymore. So our taste buds change. So also, so do how our bodies respond to supplements, and how they respond to medicine, how they respond to exercise. I don't know if you guys have experienced that or not. I've never been huge into exercise. A little, I've dabbled in it. Let's say that I've dabbled in exercise. So anyway, but that's something that I have some personal trainers as customers. I also have some personal trainers as friends and things like that. And they'll say it's like that you have to trick your muscles. You have to trick your body because sometimes it will get used to a routine or a pattern and it will stop responding. And so you have to switch up when you're doing that routine or maybe take a break from those particular type of exercises for a while. So it's the same thing with the supplements is what I've noticed. So um, currently, I'm going to look down at my list to see what I'm taking because I don't want to forget. So currently, faithfully, consistently every day, I take 5 products. I'm going to name those off. And then I'm also going to talk to you about the products that I take on occasion. So the ones that I take faithfully every day is X Factor, the original formula. I did try X Factor Plus for a month a while back, and my body did not respond well to it. Um, it had some totally adverse symptoms. And what I mean by that is I was extremely fatigued and things like that. And I was still having some vitamin deficiency issues. So for me, that did not work. But the original X Factor has always been amazing for me. So I take that every day. I take 2 of those daily. And then I also take the Ease capsules every day. I know that a lot of you guys have just started taking the Ease capsules within the last 3 or 4 months. I've been taking those every day, like I said, for almost 2 years now, end of May, beginning of June. So that was something another ambassador turned me on to a long time ago, and I'm extremely grateful for that. So I take 4 Ease capsules all at once every day in the morning. And then sometimes, depending on what I'm going to be doing, like when we were in Vegas for convention, when I was at Leaders Retreat in Orlando, if I know I'm going to be doing a lot of walking or something like that, then I'll take 6 in a day. And I take those all at once. So you can do that however you want to. You can do 2, 2, and 2. You can do 2 in the morning, 2 at night. Everybody's dose is going to be different. I know some people might think, oh my gosh, 4 or 6 of those at a time. You guys, this is nothing like ibuprofen. So it's not like taking 6 ibuprofen at a time or whatever the case may be, um, which I hate to admit that, but I was taking 6 to 10 ibuprofen at a time every 5 hours for my cycle. I've been doing that since I was 18 years old. Um, and now we find out how bad it is for you. So I don't even want to think about that. But yeah, so these capsules have been a huge part of my journey, just in reducing the inflammation in my body. So I take these capsules, and I also take Mega X every day. Um, and then the Probio 5, I take that every night at bedtime. And usually my regular dose is 4 Probio 5 a night. In December, I was really sick with bronchitis and pneumonia. So they had me on antibiotics and steroids, which are horrible for your body. So after that, now I know enough about my body, which is another thing, you guys. Trust the process. You will learn so much about your body. You will be able to tell what your body needs. You'll be able to tell what kind of dose your body needs, what kind of food your body needs. So I knew then, I could tell right away that I needed to go to ProBio 5 at night. I didn't even mess with 5. I went from 4 to 6, and I did 6 ProBio 5 a night for like a month and a half after being on those steroids and antibiotics. And then after that, I went back down to my 4. And then now for the last month or so, I've been at 3 ProBio 5 a night. So like I said, you will learn so much about your body, and you'll learn to start paying attention and knowing how to recognize things on that. And then I also take Vital Biome every night. This is something fairly new for me. I only started doing that about 6 weeks ago. I take 1 Vital Biome about an hour before I go to bed. And what I have noticed is it helps calm me and clear my mind, because I always have so much on my mind. So I've always been one of those people usually that I can fall asleep right away. So that's usually how I roll. But a lot of times now, especially since my plexus business has really been growing the last year, year and a half, and I've become so passionate and I'm dreaming bigger and bigger things than I've ever dreamed before, that I find myself laying in bed and I'm thinking about all of these things. And I'm a daydreamer anyway, you guys. So like, I'm always thinking about like, what do I want to put on my bucket list and all this other stuff. And then next thing you know, it's like 2 in the morning and I'm Googling like, what's the cheapest way to drive Route 66 on vacation? Like random things, right? So anyway, Vital Biome, I used to take on occasion in the morning if I knew I was going to have a really stressful or anxious day, and that would really help keep me calm. I don't have a history of depression or anxiety. I've had a few bouts of it in the past, but I don't have a chronic or ongoing issue with that. So I was just taking Vital Biome as needed. So a bottle of it lasted me like 4 months, I think, the first bottle I ever bought, because I just hardly ever had to take it. But then, like I said, I stumbled upon taking one of them at night before I went to bed. And what I noticed is it helps turn my mind off. So it helps relax me. And I take that about an hour before I go to bed. It helps relax me. It helps me not feel like I need to look at my phone and I need to do this and I need to do that. It really just kind of helps get me calmed down and ready for bed. And then that way, when I go to bed, I drift off to sleep and I stay asleep. A lot of times, what I was doing is I was sleeping for 2 or 3 hours, and then I was waking up, and then I would be awake for 2 or 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours. And then next thing you know, I would doze back off, and then I'd have to get up an hour later for the day or something. And I was doing that all the time. And I don't know if that's because I'm premenopausal age or what was going on. But anyway, I was just really not getting enough sleep. And Marianne and several of you girls who have known me for a while always tease me about, oh my God, you never sleep, because I was posting stuff at like 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and whatever. So anyway, you don't see me doing that anymore because now I'm sleeping. So Vital Biome, what it does for me is it shuts off my mind. It lets me fall into a really restful sleep. And I sleep, usually I've been sleeping the last 6 weeks, I've been sleeping about 4 to 5 hours solid deeply before I wake up. And then I usually wake up to use the restroom, go back to sleep, and then I'm able to sleep another 2 or 3 hours before I need to get up. So I'm taking that consistently every day too, one of those at night. So those are the things that I take daily: X Factor Original, Ease Capsules, X, Probio 5, and Vital Biome. Then what I take on occasion is Slim. That's something I love the taste of it. I just have never been good about being consistent with that this time around. So I'm very hit or miss on Slim, um, which I think is really important, because I feel like a lot of people think that you have to take Slim in addition to other stuff to really have success. And I've had a ton of success with not being consistent with Slim. I totally endorse Slim. I love it. I'm just being very honest with you guys that that's one of the things that I'm not consistent with. I also, from time to time, use our P96 protein powder. Um, BioCleanse is something I'm also not consistent with. I'm very hit or miss with BioCleanse. And when I take it, it's usually 2 a day. Um, and then also I use our body cream as needed, and I use our Ease cream as needed. And then just recently, I've taken Nerve Health capsules on occasion. So I had a toothache spring up about 5 or 6 weeks ago out of the blue. And somebody online in another group told me take the Nerve Health, which I happen to have a bottle I'd never opened. The toothache was gone within 10 minutes with one capsule of Nerve Health. So I was super impressed with that, and I've never had an issue with my tooth again. I probably need to go have something checked out to see what caused that. But anyway, yeah, within 10 minutes it was gone. And then also too, I took it, I hardly ever get migraines, and I got a migraine about a week and a half ago. And I thought, well, I wonder if it'll work for that. So I took 2 for that, gone within 20 minutes. A migraine, not a regular headache, a migraine. So I don't advocate necessarily relying on that to treat chronic migraines, because I really believe, research and studies have proven that chronic migraines, does stem from gut health. So I don't want to advocate, oh, just pop nerve health capsules. No, you need to get to the root of the problem if you have chronic migraines. But if it's something like this, like a one-off, it definitely helped me on that. And then, of course, the nerve health is good for people who have neuropathy and all kinds of other things too. So those are the products that I'm taking on occasion. So hopefully you guys are hanging in there with me. But yeah, so I'm going to talk a few more minutes and I'm going to open it up to questions. But basically, I just want to reiterate, your body is changing even when you don't see it. That's why it's so important to take selfies every once in a while, or let yourself be in a picture and have somebody take your picture. And don't do what I did. Like, I hated the lower half of my body. I've always hated my legs. So every picture of my life, I either tell the people, take it from the waist up, or I've always cropped my legs out of it. Well, now my body is changing enough that I'm wishing I had more pictures that were full body so that I could compare them to. I'm kicking myself for cropping my lower part of my body out of all the pictures because I need to compare them because I can see the changes now and I want to have a side by side. But anyway, make sure you're doing that. Even if you don't show anybody else, even if you're just doing it for yourself, so that on those days that you're doubting yourself or you're doubting if, man, am I wasting my money or am I wasting my time? Refer back to those pictures and be like, holy cow. Like, I do that now, even not with myself, but even with my friends. Girls that I'm friends with that I went to leaders retreat with in Orlando in October, and I see our group picture that we took then. You guys, I'm not the only one who looks different. Every single girl that's standing in that picture with me looks different. So, maybe they're not skinnier, but their face is thinner, or their complexion is glowing, or their hair is longer. I mean, there's something about every single person that looks different. You know, they look younger. Nicole was one of them. Nicole is like aging backwards faster than any of us. Like, I think we're all doing really good at aging backwards, but like, I was talking to her the other day. I was like, she's looking like 14, like, right? I saw that. I was like, oh my God, seriously, Nicole? So anyway, I'm going to quit talking. I hope that you guys got something out of this. I am sorry that I didn't have something prepared, but I really hope that it stirred something in you, and I would get some conversation going for a few minutes back and forth of this. So let's open this up, and if everybody could unmute and just kind of chat for a few minutes.
All right, fine. I'll show my face.
Hey, Tara, I didn't know who that was. It just kept saying iPhone.
Oh, did it? Okay, I thought it said my name. Well,
No.
you can see my spray tan, right? I look really tan with white teeth. This was great, Stephanie. Thank you for, at the last minute, just coming on and sharing your story. I don't think I've ever heard your whole story before, so I thought it was really great.
Thank you. So have you been struggling with that at all, or do you ever feel like that sometimes where you're like, have I changed lately? And then all of a sudden you'll see a picture and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, totally. I mean, so I don't remember who it was a while back that started the like side by side picture, and everybody was jumping on. There were tons of comments, and I was like, I'm not even going to jump on this because you're not going to be like, there's no difference. And then just for the hell of it, I started going through my camera roll and pulled up a picture that was from, I don't know, like the spring 2 years ago, and did a side by side. And I was like, whoa, I could tell a difference from the inflammation. So you're right. I think
Yeah.
we do. I definitely talk a lot about the energy and obviously my journey with anxiety. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that I think we take for granted sometimes. So it is, to take those pictures and to really focus on some of those things that you cannot visibly see. And I think you're right. I mean, when you see yourself every single day, you don't really notice those gradual changes, for sure.
Yeah. The other thing too that all of this is helping us is there's definitely certain foods that affect inflammation in my body. So even if I'm consistent with my supplements every day, there's certain foods that cause inflammation in your body. Now, I'm learning what all of those foods are. I haven't got that down pat, but there's certain days where I'm like, whoa, my face is kind of poofy today. And then I kind of look back and think about, okay, what you eaten versus what did you eat last week where your face was thinner? And, so all of that definitely plays a role too,
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, we're keeping cake.
What? You're keeping me up.
We're keeping
Heard that big yawn.
I know. I'm so sorry. I was thinking that's why we kept taking I was like, I gotta take the video off. I'm gonna fall asleep. I'm just so tired. I don't want you to see me yawning. But no, that was great, Stephanie. Thank you. It was good to hear all the different things you take and that you don't take Slim regularly. I don't either. But then I know what a great product it is. So I keep kind of getting myself to restart it, but I'm never consistent with it. So, but and I've seen lots of great changes. The most interesting I guess this is something I could share with you guys. I had the most interesting visit. My son did some applied kinesiology at the chiropractors. Do you guys know any? Well, you might know. You would know about that,
I know.
Tara.
Yeah, I know about that. Yep, I do.
Does your husband do that, or is he not into that?
No, he's not into that, but I have gone to a nutritionist who taught at his chiropractic school, Logan, who also
Uh,
does applied kinesiology. It's interesting, but I'll
I
tell you what, it worked.
I'm telling you, I think it's fascinating, and that's what I was gonna say, Stephanie. If you want to figure out what foods you probably shouldn't eat, you could do that. It's for me here. It was like $150 for my son to do applied to kinesiology. Okay, the part that I think was so interesting, we got the list of foods that made him weak, basically, or were not good for him that he needs to avoid. But the thing that I thought was so fascinating is I took supplements to the chiropractor, and I took the supplements with us. And so I've had him on ProBio 5 and BioCleanse for 2 years. And it just has not made a big difference with him. It hasn't done much for him. And I've always been kind of like, why did it help me and so many other people, but it's not helping him? We've never really done Slim. He doesn't like the taste. It's too sweet and, whatever. So I take the supplements there, and he's doing the applied kinesiology, and I hand him ProBio 5, and he's like, yeah, I mean, he tries it with Ethan, and he's like, it's fine. I mean, it's definitely not going to hurt him, but it's really not helping him that much. I'm like, well, no wonder. I've been giving it to him for 2 freaking years, and it doesn't seem like it helped him that much. Then I gave him Vital Biome, which I've never given Ethan before. I've just been taking Vital Biome, and he's like, this is the one he should be taking. And I'm like, oh, wow. He's like, that other one just wasn't enough for him. It's just not strong enough. And I thought, well, that's so fascinating. So anyway, needless to say, I'm still taking ProBio 5, and it's not going to hurt him. He's like, he can take him. It's just not doing enough for him. It's not doing what he needs. So he's got him on two Vital Biomes a day. And he sells probiotics, but he didn't try to talk me into his. I mean, he was just like, I know him in other way. Like I worked with his little boy as a speech therapist, so I know his family. And he's like, oh no, that's a great probiotic. He's like, it did a world of good for him. But don't worry about giving him ProBio 5 anymore. You don't need to. I mean, you can. It's not going to hurt him, but it's not doing what it needs to. And I'm like, why are so many people with like all these issues and IBS, and even myself? I didn't take Vital Biome for a good solid year and a half, and I felt so much better, and I had all these symptoms go away. He's like, well, you probably got enough, but it just isn't enough for him, or it's not doing enough. So anyway, I thought that was really fascinating.
That is awesome. I saw your post about that. Yeah. And the other thing too is I just found out from one of my customers that has been a customer of mine for quite a while. She let me know today that she upped her dose on her own, because that's normally something she does just under my guidance, change your dose. She was on 4 ProBio 5 because she was experiencing, at that dose, she finally got rid of her cravings for her carbs and all that stuff because they were still really rampant. Excuse me. Well, she let me know today. She recently, in the last few weeks, upped her dose to 5 ProBio 5.
Mm-hmm.
And she's noticed that that's kind of like the magic number. She has really bad acne issues. And I'm not a dermatologist, so I don't know. Apparently there's different levels and kinds of acne, and she had a specific name for hers. But she said with the 5, now she's actually it's at bay, it's going away, all of this really chronic acne that she's had. So I think that's a lot of it too, is, everybody's body is so different on dosing needs,
Right.
and sometimes that's it. Sometimes, just, somebody that can get away with 2 capsules of something, somebody else may need 5 or 6. I don't know if you're going to know, I won't mention his name, but one of our ambassadors down in Mississippi that I'm friends with, the last time I talked to him about his dose was at a convention in Vegas last year, and he takes 8 to 9 BioCleanse a day. So
that's interesting. I was thinking about upping my BioCleanse. I've always taken the 4, and I was thinking about trying 6.
Yeah, that's kind of been his normal dose. He has a huge PTSD success testimonial. And for him, that high doses of BioCleanse is kind of where he found his sweet spot to help with that PTSD with his other supplements as well. So
That's cool. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, and I think, I think if it might be something that, and I mean, the antifungal and ProBio 5 is so, I think that's such a good helper. That's the thing about it that I think is great, is that it helps to break down that bad yeast, and so that you can kind of add. So I think it's a good combo. I think it's not something you would want to completely get rid of ProBio 5, but I just thought how interesting that he was
right.
like, he just really, the response that Ethan's body gave to the ProBio 5 was just like, I mean, it's fine. It's just not awesome. But Vital Biome, it was like, boom, take that now. Like, start taking 2 of those a day. Like, this is awesome. And then he looked at it. He's like, hey, this is a great probiotic. This is really good. And he sells his own. So I just felt really good about it. I just thought that was a great kind of endorsement, and kind of a unbiased endorsement of our Vital Biome. I just loved that. But yeah, I think ProBio 5 has its own strengths and its own its own purpose, serves its own purpose. But I just thought that was interesting about the Vital Biome. So he's taken 2 of them.
That's awesome. Well, and the like I had mentioned too, of tricking our body or resetting our body, and our body changes. I had to quit taking Mega X at night. Mega X and ProBio 5, for the first, I don't know how long, 6 or 8 months, I got phenomenal sleep with that, like deep, deep sleep. And then something changed in my body. And as it turned out, Mega X that was in one of the reasons I was getting like staying awake too. It was like it wasn't keeping me amped up or anything like that. It wasn't that. It was almost like cognitively, it was keeping my brain too active or something. So I changed that, and I no longer take Mega X at night. I take Mega X in the morning when I take my X Factor and all of that. And I haven't had any other trouble since. So it's just interesting how you have to change it. And the other thing too is I noticed, like, for BioCleanse. Well, BioCleanse, with that being a magnesium supplement, I mean, that one of the many properties of that is to calm your nervous system, to calm your anxiety. Magnesium is huge for calming in lots of different ways. So for a lot of people, that will help them rest at night. But then I have other customers who report energy surges when they take BioCleanse. Like, it gives them energy. Like,
Interesting.
It's really interesting. Yeah. So.
I don't know. I feel like I am just not in tune with my body well enough to even notice all those changes. I don't know. I do notice, I say that I do not like block. Block is constipating for me. Does anyone else have that issue? Do you guys use block ever?
No, I don't use it.
Use it on occasion. I actually today, since I had to order the bottle of Vital Biome for the winter, I was like, oh, yeah, maybe I'll try a little block again. So that's one that I'll take sporadically.
Yeah.
I can't do accelerator or boost. I've tried both. They both give me really bad headaches.
They make me nervous.
Yeah,
Accelerator makes me jittery.
Yeah, me too.
But
And
I tried it once without food. Yeah.
So, yeah, it is interesting how, your body reacts. And I've kind of reset before, and then I stripped down a lot of the products a couple months ago and then built my way back up, and that seemed to make a difference. And like I said, I don't know why it never dawned on me to increase my ProBio 5 when I started having a lot of problems with my asthma. It never dawned on me until recently. And I upped from 2 to 3, and it took care of the problem.
That's amazing.
Isn't it crazy? I don't know why I didn't think
amazing.
I don't think I thought that it would actually I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I didn't think it would work that quickly. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know about you, Tara, but for me, I think if I were you, that would not have dawned on me or been obvious, because when I think of ProBio 5, I think of like gut health and things like that. I don't think of like breathing health, or, lack of a medical term or whatever.
Well, especially, I mean, does it have, I guess it has anti-inflammatory properties in it? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they say allergies is related to gut health for sure.
Right, definitely. I guess it's just that extra boost.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Do you use Vital Biome?
I do, yeah. And that obviously has helped with my anxiety, but I think Yeah, my asthma's been pretty controlled. It was bad when we even anytime I go to St. Louis, my asthma is out of control.
Hmm.
Something with my parents' house in particular. We don't know what it is, but yeah, it's been pretty controlled since we lived in Chicago, and then these past couple months, I mean, I've had the same inhaler for like 2 years, and I was taking breathing treatments. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And like I said, I increased a couple weeks ago to the 3 Pro Bio 5, and it took care of it.
You know,
That's
Kate,
awesome.
you
Pretty
talked about,
cool.
I'll mention this for anybody who might be listening to the call later on. Kay, you said you don't really feel like you're in tune with your body enough to notice some of the things we're talking about. That's another thing that I think I want to talk to people about is trusting the process and continue to be consistent with it and know that changes are happening. Is that you learning about your body, even like for me, some of the things I was able to learn, things about my body, and sound simple. I would eat until I was satisfied or full versus eating until I was stuffed. And then eventually, once you eat to that point, then later on you regret it because you feel miserable. So that was another thing that the products helped me with is learn to know when I was satisfied or content, because I was eating smaller portions and things like that eventually. And it helped me learn the difference between a craving and a want. And so there was definitely, like when it came to sweets or carbs, there was definitely craving issues for me initially. Um, but then also too, sometimes like now I don't have cravings like that. But
Mhm.
if I want to drink a glass of sweet tea, because I still do that, or some soda, I know a lot of people who do Plexus are like, oh, I haven't had a soda in 2 years. Well, that's not me. However, I don't crave sweet tea or I don't crave those desserts like I used to. But now I can recognize in my body, okay, that's not a craving, but I do want it. I want the taste of it. So, like at Thanksgiving, I'm content with having a single bite of apple pie. I don't even need a piece of apple pie, or
Mhm.
something like that. So it's definitely, those are some of the differences too, that, you just learn what your body wants versus what it's craving or things like that, if
Right.
that makes sense.
Right.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining me on the call, ladies. And for anybody else who's listening to this in the future, I hope it helps you. And to keep on keeping on. The time is going to pass anyway. So just keep taking your supplements and being consistent. And that way you can share your side-by-side comparisons. And I want to see your testimonial. So let's cheer each other on. Thanks, you guys, so much. And happy Sunday night. Bye.